Yeah. All right. Good evening, everyone. We are PlayPod Games. My name is Zach. I'm the creative lead and concept artist. This is Josh, one of our programmers, our animator and 3D modeler. Jackson, one of our other environmental artists. Sophia, artist, lighter, and texture. And Tejas, one of our other Unity programmers.
We also have Mike, who is handling a situation right now.
And Idan, who is also on co-op, who is one of our programmers. Today, we are happy to share with you our progress on our game, Epochalypse, a 3D co-op adventure in time. And so we have a little teaser for you guys tonight, just to show off some of our new enemies. Oh, am I? Yeah. All right.
Just to give an idea about the game, it's a 3D multiplayer action game, a couch co-op, and you basically battle waves of enemies. That's what we are aiming for the Xbox demo. And it has all the power-ups and like special abilities for the player. And yeah, you take down that little lethal queen you just saw. So get excited.
All right, so what's new? It's been a while since we've been up here, and we have a lot of new content to share with you guys, including our new game mode that we're focusing on for the Xbox, new environments that Jackson has been handling, new mechanics such as our power-ups and character controllers, as well as new enemies, and finally getting our characters in. So let's hop into it.
Cool. So this game mode that we're working on right now is kind of like an endless arena. And the reason why it's endless is because these tiles here can form any combination that we want. So that's going to be really exciting. So we can have kind of like a dynamic battlefield where the ground pops up and down, so you're forced to play in different areas. The art style we're going for is kind of in tune with Overwatchy, but a little more realistic. And so there's going to be a lot of different cool mechanics like power-ups and swarms of enemies. And the question is, how long can you last in the arena? Yeah, so basically we're going for like a big aesthetic overhaul. So we've got different new textures that fit kind of like the Overwatchy Blizzard art style. We're gonna create, so it's basically in a Jurassic Jungle themed area, and yeah, it's cool stuff.
So with the aesthetic overhaul, we've also been redesigning a couple of our enemies as well as texturing and working on their missions. So the Simonette leads all of them, and then she has her mites which follow her. So we have like variations of the mite or her minion. So we have the mite that everyone's familiar with on the right of her, and then we have the flash fly above, the deer set to the right of the minion, and then on the far left we have the worm. And then we've also been doing a overhaul on some of our particle effects. So we've been working on getting newer, more updated particle effects that match up to our art style more as well.
So who are you fighting? Well, we have some enemies that are traveling across the space-time continuum to invade the planet and ruin the time paradox. They are known as mites, and they are a race of sentient robots that eat time and distort time slippage. And it's your job to end to fight their queen and end the apocalypse by taking out her minions. So mites are AI-controlled enemies, and each one has a unique behavior in the way that it behaves and performs in the arena and battlefield. In our campaign mode, when they are roaming around, might serve as different guide points as well as obstacles when you're exploring different terrains like our Jurassic Jungle. But for the purpose of this demo, since we're focusing on the arena, they spawn in different waves that grow increasingly harder over time. There are also 3 different types of mites that each function in different ways, such as ground units like the mite, the gyrosect, aerial units like the flashfly, which will fly overhead, rendering them invulnerable to player attack until they touch back down on the ground, and hybrid units like the worm, which can go underground as well as pop up and attack from afar. So many of you may be familiar with this image of our previous concept designs, but for the sake of scope, we realized that there's no way that we were going to tackle all of these enemies. So we've focused in on just a few, and in order to preserve variety in our waves, we decided to go the route of enemy classes, where we can keep models pretty similar and just make variations on their behavior, while still making waves feel interesting and dynamic, without having to make 20 different enemies for the sake of getting this out on a related time schedule. So now we're going to jump a little into our new characters as well.
Yes, so with our big cast of enemies, we also have a big cast of characters. Right now we have 6. Each one is from a museum exhibit, and so each one of them also represents an era and time. For example, Ignis is our raptor. He's from the Jurassic epoch. Berg, our mammoth. He's from the Zach, how do you pronounce that word? Pleistocene epoch. We have our gargoyle. He's from the Middle Ages epoch, and of course we have several others, and maybe even other characters in the future. Each one has their own play style. For example, Ignis, our raptor, he's very fast and agile, but he doesn't have a lot of defense. You have to be careful with him. But our mammoth, Berg, has a lot of defense, although he's a little bit slow and sluggish. And of course, all of our other characters have their own special abilities and strengths and weaknesses for you to strategize with.
Yeah, so the first character that we've been focusing on for this demo is Ignis, and Mars.
So this is Ignis. This term we built Ignis from the ground up, and right now he's rigged completely, or at least his body is. Hopefully soon I am going to start rigging his face so that he doesn't just make this blank kind of happy expression, and he has soon he'll be animated and we'll have a fully fleshed out character in our game, and hopefully that will lead to our next characters.
So for the purpose of the Xbox rules, we're looking, now that we have Rewired in our project, we're looking to get multiplayer up, but we're going to just be using Ignis's variations and putting the different playstyles on that model with the different color variations, with the hopes of getting at least 2 characters fully made and into the project by the summer. We also want to get our core mechanic loop in from the arena so that waves feel fun and dynamic each time we play, as well as getting a boss battle in with the Simnit boss, and then even balancing our characters to make sure that none of them feel too overpowered or weak, and that there's variety and a reason to pick different characters. So, what's next for us? So of course, content, and that's getting our characters fully fleshed out, like Mara said. Now that they're rigged, at least with Ignis animated and into the game, with these interactions and special effects that Sophia has been making. For combat, we want to get the other enemies in with their AI mechanics, as well as integrating our power-ups so that the players have new ways to fight and attack enemies. Go. For visuals, first that's increasing the amount of animations we have and putting a little bit of polish on them as well, with the more particle effects and character attacks, as well as the atmosphere we're going for, such as adding dynamic lighting to our arena so that while you're in there fighting waves upon waves of enemies, the environment is also changing as well to make it interesting, as well as it is engaging. And last but not least, some of our stretch goals include going back to our environmental demo that we had in our previous time we were up here, so to show what a level may look like, because the Endless Arena is a mode in the game. If we have time, we would like to get back to showing off our level 1 demo that includes the various arenas and navigation sections with collectibles along the way. We have the museum gallery to show us some of the models we've made. In our previous version, we had assets that were lost in time because our game is about time slippage. We had the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the collapsed satellite, we have Mount Rushmore now, and just little scattered bits of artifacts from different periods of time that are scattered in environments that are very out of place now. And last but not least, bonus modes such as having sort of a tag team mode where you and a friend can team up and fight each other, or get in combat in a little battle royale as well. So Thank you all so much for your time, just for a little brief update. And we are looking forward to coming back and showing you guys also here with our new demo and prototype.
Follow us on all of our social medias.
Yeah. And last but not least, we have this little. So we got. We're responding to work now, so you heard this more. Thank you guys.
I guess any questions from them before they go?
I have a couple questions. One, have your goal is for the Xbox, I guess. Have you built a device yet?
No, so we have not started voting for that yet, but our plan is to get with this demo. We need to figure out the game loop and then start optimizing that as soon as we can.
One suggestion that has always been consistent from people and groups that have done this is to build a device as soon as you can. The second question I have is, what's the game narrative? Because, at least for me, coming into this game with fairly fresh eyes, there seems to be sort of some conceptual, I guess, not mismatch, but so for example, some of the characters are kind of robotic in future, but your main characters are dinosaurs in a coliseum. It seems like it's a bunch of concept ideas that are interesting in itself. They're kind of brought together without thinking about the larger coherence. And that, I guess you could try to explain that by some sort of backstory. So I wonder if you have sort of thought about to try to create a coherence of the various themings that you have.
So we do. So we do have a sort of underlying story. Since our game is not necessarily narrative heavy, we do have a little brief story that goes in the beginning, although our storyboards aren't ready for this presentation. In short, essentially, this is taking place in modern day when an invasion of aliens from the future, these sentient robots, cause a paradox in time. And this sends time into chaos and it becomes distorted. So all of the exhibits within the museum, each representing their own time period, then become playable locations. And we really wanted to have that high contrast between things that are archaic and ancient with this futuristic tech. So we have things like dinosaurs and mammoths fighting robots, because it is that really stark contrast not only between times, but in the way that the characters behave as well. And so you're essentially getting back from the Jurassic period all the way back to the present time. And as you move through these worlds, the enemies and the environment changes.
I think it was definitely smart to limit your number of enemies, or at least make some more variants of enemies, because it still feels really fleshed out from the art you were showing earlier. I would suggest trying to do something similar with your main characters, because you have 6 different main characters, and I like that they're from disparate timelines, but it's going to take a long time to animate really 6 main characters with 6 different play styles. I would see if you can at least share skeleton between them, even if you want to keep your different time periods.
One thing we are doing to remedy that, because we definitely think that it's out of scope to get all 6 in for the summer, is with Ignis Gun, we're going to use his color palettes and variations to essentially put the behaviors and mechanics of the other characters on them, while just using the same rig at the time and just calling them different characters, but the skins will essentially represent the Sphinx, the Dodo. Anything else? Anyone? Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much, guys.